is an important time of year for if you're keto or carnivore or hyper carnivore, very important time of year to have a strategy going into Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and even into Valentine's Day. All of the holidays, all of the things. What is a hyper carnivore? A hyper carnivore is any animal, and human beings do count as a kind of an animal, any animal that gets more than 70% of its nutrition from meat. And if you're a raven, that includes things that are a vulture, things that have passed away. So I think it's very interesting. I've been on some groups on Facebook that are very, very strict about what I can talk about in terms of what is carnivore. So sometimes I stick to talking about keto, but I think it's very interesting that a hypercarnivore is any animal that gets more than 70% of its nutrition from meat. So yes, I am a hypercarnivore. But I want to talk about some of the things you may have heard recently that LMNT, that those electrolytes may have included some great ingredients that weren't optimal for people who are keto or low carb or even definitely carnivore. I just want to tell you about what I have been using for literally more than 10 years now, which it delays gastric emptying. It also improves my insulin sensitivity. And when I use my apple cider vinegar tonic, I do not get hunger pangs at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. When I don't drink this, I do get hunger pangs at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's really, really helpful. A tablespoon of organic apple cider vinegar. You can use Bragg's, but this is much less expensive. So I like to shop for whatever is less expensive in the store. And with that is included a tablespoon of, a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice, maybe a little bit more of the vinegar than the lemon juice. I just, make a batch of it and leave it in the refrigerator. I have a 2 tablespoon scoop. I put that in and I put it in water. I do add a little bit of liquid stevia to it because it's very sour. And then I always drink a glass of water afterward to rinse my teeth because this can be hard on your tooth enamel. When I first started taking it, I got some pushback when I was telling my training clients about it. I posted on here and somebody was like, "Oh, where's your evidence? There's no proof." Well, 10 years later, there have been studies done about using ACV and also using lemon juice to help manage insulin sensitivity. But the most important thing about the ACV is that it delays gastric emptying. And when we're talking about delaying gastric emptying, that's actually one of the things that Ozempic, semaglutide, GLP-1s do, is that they delay gastric emptying and they can help with that hungry gut. But here's a way that's very inexpensive and really healthy for you that you can have that. I like to drink it in the morning. Sometimes I like to warm it up a little bit on cold days. So that's the first thing. And also, electrolytes, the LMNT are very expensive. I really don't want to take that. This is a great substitute, and you heard it here because this is one of the things that I really can't talk about in carnivore groups on Facebook. Go figure. But anyway, you can try this one. So my next tip is what can we do at Thanksgiving to really enjoy ourselves? Things you can bring, things you can have. I am the cook at my house, so I get to be in charge of what I'm eating. And so, of course, I make a beautiful turkey, and I do, use herbs. And I generally don't. Our family, we just were not interested in stuffing anymore. Even those who eat a conventional diet, they're not interested in having stuffing. So we just don't make it. So instead, I'll chop up celery and onions and rosemary and thyme, fresh rosemary and thyme, and put those inside the turkey cavity. And then, of course, butter the turkey, and it's just butter. And I will use sometimes I'll use a little bit of paprika on it, which will help to give it that really lovely color, that golden color. But it really isn't necessary. So the turkey is so easy. And then the other thing that I do is I do eat cheese on my keto carnivore lifestyle. So there's all these beautiful cheeses that you can do. So I will do like a thin crepe or omelet using the cheese, and then so that'll be a lovely side dish for me. And then of course the cheese itself, you could look for patés. Yeah, goose liver pate. Oh my goodness, that's such a luxury that you can have that at Thanksgiving. And then I do because I went keto back in 2008, went carnivore in 2018. And I've been maintaining a weight that I'm comfortable at for so long that I do add back some things on holidays and birthdays that are special desserts. So I want to tell you about one of them. And of course, you don't have to do this. You can scroll if you're a very strict carnivore and you don't want to hear about any of this stuff. But if you're keto or if you're hyper carnivore, 70% from meat, I'm going to tell you about this recipe. All right, so it starts with whipped cream cheese, very easy to get at the store. And probably if you're making it for just one person, if you're just making it for yourself, go with 2 tablespoons of the whipped cream cheese and about 2 or 3 tablespoons of heavy cream. And then I use plain cocoa. This is unseasoned cocoa. This is the Toll House cocoa. It tastes really good. About a tablespoon of this, a dash of vanilla, and then liquid stevia to taste. And you blend it all together. It turns into a mousse. Put it in the freezer for 10 minutes, and it's ready to serve. I will also make, and this is actually if I go to like potlucks or if I go to funerals or occasions where something is wanted for a dish that everyone can have, I will make, and I know it's got, some chemicals in it, but I will make sugar-free Jello, and I'll put like blueberries in it, and I'll do whipped cream on top. And this is really great if you've got an occasion to go to. If you're going to a family gathering and you're afraid there's not going to be anything that's no sugar, whether you're keto or carnivore, or whether you're just dealing with your blood sugar, sugar-free Jello. Put in some blueberries, put in some fruit, top it with whipped cream. Once again, you can sweeten it with some liquid stevia, and then you've got something to take with you. Because I can't tell you how many times I've gone to these gatherings where sometimes you have to be there for hours and they practically have nothing for me. And one of the reasons why is that carbohydrates are so cheap. If you think of all of the dishes, all of the mixed dishes that are made with carbohydrates, these are very inexpensive. And so very often that's what you're going to find at any kind of potluck or any kind of gathering is these cheap sweet foods. So very often you have to be responsible for taking something and making something yourself. And I have to say that making the sugar-free Jello with the blueberries and the whipped cream, I don't think I've ever been in a situation where it hasn't gotten eaten because there are so many people. You put sugar free on a little card in front of it, and there's so many people who really want to eat something that's sugar free. So that's one of the ways that I've managed to stay. This will be my gosh, like my 10th abstinent holiday period. And when I talk about abstinence, so my triggers are all sugars, all grains, and all vegetable oils. So the foods that make me overeat, anything with sugar in it, that's any kind of sugar, and then anything with grains in it. It doesn't matter what kind of grain it is, whether it's rice or whether it's wheat or barley or oats. I used to try to eat oat bran, and that doesn't work either. So none of those. And then, of course, none of the vegetable or seed oil. So no canola oil, definitely no soybean oil. I actually made a mayonnaise yesterday to go with a hamburger. So this was a carnivore mayonnaise, and I made it with an egg yolk, and warmed up liquefied bacon grease. It was the most amazing mayo I've ever had. So I just warmed it up, put it in a bowl, used my hand mixer. I separate the egg yolk, put the egg yolk in there, whip up that egg yolk, and then slowly add that liquefied bacon fat. Oh my goodness. And then I will confess, I do add a little bit of vinegar and a little bit of lemon juice to that, and it makes the most amazing mayonnaise. So you can definitely have a condiment. And so if you're a strict carnivore, you don't want the vinegar and the lemon juice, just use that egg yolk, add the bacon fat, maybe some Himalayan sea salt, and you've got something really nice that you can put on your hamburger, really delicious to make it special. So those are my tips for going through the holidays. And if you're keto, if you're carnivore, if you're hypercarnivore, really focus on that as you go into the holiday. And I've been doing this for years. Don't necessarily think about all the extra variety in what you eat, just increase the quality. So I would say if you're a very strict carnivore and you're going to be having, beef, bacon, and eggs, what I would suggest is save some money early in the month so that you can have the highest quality beef, the highest quality eggs, and the very best bacon. So focus on quality instead of variety. Because one of the keys to permanent recovery from overweight and overeating, if you're a compulsive overeating, is when you can develop a low need for variety. They call it low variety seeking or low novelty seeking. That's what you call it. Have you heard about this? About hyper novelty seeking? That a lot of times people like me who have been compulsive overeaters who become obese, one of the things that's driving them is this very high novelty seeking. And one of the great things about keto, hypercarnivore, and carnivore is that over the years, that has totally managed my hyper novelty seeking. It has allowed me to be satisfied with simple foods. And then I just add more fun to my life. We got Ted Lasso Uno, so we're going to play Uno. And obviously, I love music and dancing and drawing. And so, one of the things about the holidays is maybe if your family likes games or things like that, you might focus on playing a game or just having some fun other ways. So there you have it, the tonic, the desserts, and also that definition of a hypercarnivore, which is any animal that gets more than 70% of its nutrition from meat. All right. Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy Thanksgiving. Be well and eat for yourself. Oh, I oh well now anything with pain, you have to go and see your doctor, and that's something for an MD. I'm just someone who has recovered from sugar addiction, not a doctor, not even a certified trainer anymore. So be well.